Oh, something like that. Okay, it's better. Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, E.T. Ren-E, Shaka Ndugu Kemet. How are you, brothers and sisters? Hope you're doing well. It's been a minute, but I'm back. I'm back like Sankofa. I'm back like I left something. I'm back like I. The title of this live stream is Let's Talk About Hieroglyphs, aka Medu Neter. Yes, indeed. Let's talk about it. All questions and comments are welcome. When was the last time I did a live stream? Well, almost 2 weeks ago. It was September 30. And for those who will listen to this live stream later on, today is October 11. Oh, we have ma artiste politique who wrote Hotep. Hotep, est-ce que tu parles anglais? Tu comprends l'anglais? Feel free, ask your questions. Si tu parles pas l'anglais, tu peux poser tes questions en français ou faire tes commentaires en français, pas de problème. Come on in, brothers and sisters, and take advantage. Let me know what's good with you. What do you know about the Medu Neter? What have you heard about the hieroglyphic? Okay, I think he meant to write little. I'm back. There was some connection issue. So Harley Quinn wrote same. What do you mean by same? Let me know. Oui, je suis de retour Matic Politique. Yes, I'm there, Harley Quinn. Come on in. Feel free to ask your questions and make your comments. And for those who want to call in, I have shared the call-in link already, but I will share it again just in case. And take advantage because, like I said many times, soon, or let's say at some point, I will only put people on a panel that show their face. It's not the case now. So for the shy ones, for those who are timid, we'll take advantage. Calling link. Share the link. No, with me, it's not scripted. I don't screen the callers. So feel free. Yesterday, I had the class with a brother who's been taking lessons for a while now. So it's getting to an advanced level. He's getting to read sentences. And we went over that symbol. That symbol. Keep the comments going, brothers and sisters. I will go over them as I usually do. So there's a symbol of an extended arm with a cone of bread inside or on top of the palm, on top of the hand. And this is a glyph that means to give or giving. And as some of you are aware, one dude about what, is it 8 years ago or 10 years, 12 years ago? One dude tried to claim this glyph means Allah. So, like I've said in the past, if the guy was slick, he could have chosen a glyph that is rare or that doesn't appear so often. And then he could have tricked the people, but he happened to choose one glyph that appears quite regularly. Now, the guy who made that claim, he made it once, he was recorded, he was on tape making that claim during a Runoko Rashidi tour of a museum located at a university in Pennsylvania. If I'm not mistaken, it's in Pennsylvania. But he didn't take that claim far. He did not try to promote that falsehood. But the guy who uploaded the video, he tried. And yesterday during the class, I was reminded of that, and I kind of forgot that. At some point, you hear so many weird stuff that you tend to forget the weird things you've heard in the past. So that guy, that username who is anonymous and unidentified, he claimed that it is not actually hieroglyphic, that it's not Medu Neter, but that it is pyramid text. As if there is a difference between the hieroglyphs and the pyramid text. Some people don't have any shame in their game, for real. For real. Now, Harley Quinn wrote, I've heard very little. Same as other person. Okay. Well, if you have any questions, then feel free, brothers and sisters. If you knew, brothers and sisters, about like 15 years ago, I knew so many people who were talking about the Medu, talking about they want to learn it, they're going to learn it, and blah, blah, blah. 15 years later, they haven't learned jack. And don't get me wrong, like I said many times, Medu Neter, like any other language, is not for everybody. There is no obligation for anyone to learn the Medu Neter. But I'm talking about people who claim that they were about that culture and that they were going to learn it, But it's all good. There was an escape route that was very convenient and forgot to listen to the audio. I hope that I'm not breaking up all through. See, it's been like almost 2 weeks I did not live stream, so I lost some of my reflexes. Let me check the sound. Wait for the advert to go away. So how does it sound now? Check the sound. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So yes, take advantage and ask your questions, Ask your questions. I mean, we have our people who talk about Noah's Ark, for which we don't have any record of. And people talk about someone spending some time inside of a whale stomach, and then he got out. People talking all different type of stuff for which we don't have any documentation. How about talking about something that we have all around the world? And you will notice that pretty soon, besides the videos that I'm filming from different museums across the world, since I have plenty of pictures, it will be an opportunity to have some exercises to practice, and that is particularly geared towards those who take the Medu Neter classes. But others don't take classes with me. They take classes or lessons of the Medu Neter with other people. Others are learning the Medu Neter without any teachers. They are learning on their own with the books. So it will be an opportunity for them to see plenty of different artifacts from around the world. And this will come very shortly. The videos will probably be quite short, and there will be plenty of artifacts. Now, we have Guillaume Beke. I think you came in before, unless your username is similar to another one, but I think you came here before. So yes, brothers and sisters, there will be a lot of that, and I expect that there will be well, actually, there might be a little bit less live streams than before, and more videos of different artifacts with the Medu Neter. But every now and then, I like to stay in touch. I like to keep in touch. As a matter of fact, the last live stream was like almost 2 weeks ago. And usually I will do a live stream at least once a week at some time, at some point. But it is what it is. Brother Asiatic Lion, Hotep Shaka, how doing, brother? I don't know why you keep changing your username. Like, you've had at least 3 usernames, but you might have had 4, but to each his own. Everybody's free to do what they want. So, brothers and sisters, don't you have any question or any statements to make about the Medu Neter? None of you is curious? None of you is wondering anything about the Medu Neter, about the hieroglyphic? In the long term, I'm really looking forward to having more people who are interested in it. And don't feel any type of way if you're not interested in it. It's fine. but it's part of the African culture, and it's a part where so many things are said, so many freestyles are made, so many misconceptions, so many linguistic acrobatics and linguistic gymnastics, so many undocumented claims, and the key to a culture is usually the language. So we will get into it. I'm glad because I have a new learner who is from a different country. So far, I had different places in America. I've had England. I've had Kenya. I've had the Netherlands, and now there's Switzerland. The alchemist Nicola wrote, I would like to sign up for the class. Where is the link? I will share the link. Well, actually, the link is in the description of this video, but I will share it again. There it is. It's in the chat. And you know what? Those who join are very lucky, because if you look at the flyer, so far it's been $10 for 1 hour. And now those are group classes. But in order to have some groups, there's a need for enough people. And since this membership directly via YouTube is very recent, there's not plenty of people, which means that those who register, they still have a private lesson. When I say private, it's all private, whether it's group or one-on-one. But what I mean is that they have a one-on-one lesson. Later on, when there will be more people, I will see different people. There will be some small groups, but we're not there yet. So you're very lucky because you have a price cut. You are free. You're all free to make the calculations. Let me answer wifey. So thank you for waiting. Yes, indeed. You're all free to make the calculation. There's a huge difference between, and now for those that don't know, the pace is 1 lesson per week. That's the best pace. I am actually learning some other foreign languages, and one of them with some tutors, and it is once a week. It's a good pace. It allows you to breathe, to practice, do exercises, try to memorize, and eventually you can hear other people converse and you will recognize. But anyway, you will recognize some words, some sentences, and so on, some expressions. So if you make the calculation, $10 per week, feel free. Because now it's 15, well, is it? It's less than $20 per month. With the old format, people will be tempted to say $40 a month, but some weeks have 52, some month have 5 weeks. So if I do 10 times 52 divided by 12, that's the equivalent of $43 with the old format. You see? But now for less than $20, so it's like half the price. So you should take advantage, because later on, who knows if there are so many people, and those things take time. I have 19,000 subscribers. I did not stop with 19,000 subscribers. In 2016, I had an account with 9,000 subscribers. Oh, there was someone. I missed it. Well, feel free to call again. So it took me some time to get the numbers back up. So if there are enough people later on, who knows, the price might go up, you know? So really take advantage. All you need to do is just to join, and it's just handled by YouTube. You see? Now, Asiatic Lion wrote, what is the relationship with the Afro-Asiatic language family and Medu Neter? Not much. And I think I've quoted before. Oh, well, I actually have two brothers who are into the Medu Neter. We have our brother who wrote Hotep with the Hieroglyph. He's into the Medu. And we have another brother, Blaya, who wrote Hotep Shaka. He's into the Medu as well. Now we have Afro-Asiatic in the panel. Greetings, brother.
Peace, brother Shaka.
Peace. How you doing?
I'm all right, bro. Let me get this YouTube off. Yeah. What's going on with you, brother? How the family?
Our family is well. How about yours?
Good, man.
That's
Good.
lovely. That's
All
lovely.
things considered, no COVID. I don't know if I could say that, but no shot,
Yeah.
trying to make it through all of this crap with that. It's all weird to
Well,
me.
this might be a surprise to a lot of people, but for the record, I received the shot
Oh,
because I think by now most of the people who subscribe to my channel, well, at least those who are there on a regular basis,
mm,
they can see that I am usually traveling abroad
right,
to film in the museums. And if you don't have the shot, then you cannot just travel abroad.
right.
So I did not have any symptoms, and I'm good. And apparently, it appears that at least 50% of the so-called conscious community is really against the shot, and many people feel like the COVID-19 is a hoax or whatever. But just for the record, I got vaccinated.
Okay, okay. That's what's up, brother.
Hmm.
To each his own.
Yeah, yeah, to each his own.
No,
I mean,
but
personally, I don't really want to talk too much about the COVID because there's so many things that people can say, but I don't see doctors worldwide being on a conspiracy to administrate um, some medicine that will be detrimental to people's health. I
hmm
could see a few doing that, but not the majority of doctors worldwide. But that's my take. That's my take. Some people might feel like I'm naive, but it is still the same doctors that everybody run to when they are not healthy. But what's on your mind, brother?
yeah, brother, that is correct. I hear what you're
Mm,
saying.
mm,
Yeah, you know, I just don't. I just don't understand how we can and how we don't see a relationship between the Afro-Asiatic language family and Medu Neter when they are classified together and you know things of that nature. I think it's I think we kind of in denial that those languages are related. Medu Neter, Arabic, Hebrew, Cushitic, Omatic, uh, Berber. You know, it's a whole host of languages that are included within that family. You know, I just think, you know, we're in denial about that because we want to separate the Levant from Kemet, of course, you know, but we're also isolating it from the Sahel, you know, when we don't acknowledge that reality, in my opinion.
Well, brother, I don't think that Berber and the Medu Neter, let alone the Medu Neter, because that's way ancient. I don't even think that the Berber language or Amazigh is even related to what's the name? Um, to Arabic, because the Berber language comes from Africa, North Africa, the Maghreb region,
Mm-hmm.
and Arabic comes from Asia.
Mm. Mm.
But you know what? I'm not an expert. I'm not a specialist when it comes to languages.
Right.
So I'm going to quote a PhD.
Yes.
Now, okay, let's make this larger. Let's try 20. Let's try
I'm coming, Joseph.
22.
Pardon, Shaka. 1 second. I just got to tend to my son. Coming right
No
back.
problem. No problem. Okay. So maybe 22 will do. Brothers and sisters, we're going to, and I think I've read this quote before. As a matter of fact, I'll wait for the brother to come back so he can hear it. It doesn't come from me. It comes from a PhD. So
Yeah, brother Shaka, you can hear me?
oui.
Okay.
So okay, now let me quote. I'm going to share the screen. Okay. So the book is called Egyptian Hieroglyphs for Complete Beginners. The author is Bill Manley, PhD, and that's page 42 of the book. So he wrote, now use my pen if I need to highlight something. I like the blue. Okay. Egyptian has the longest recorded history of any language, more than 4,000 years from the earliest inscriptions, circa 3000 BC, until the latest Coptic composition of the 13th century AD. By contrast, Chinese has been written for something over 3,000 years, while written English is barely 15 years old. Egyptian is also the only indigenous language known from Egypt. Other languages used in the country in ancient times were imposed on the government by foreign rulers, Persian, then Greek, and eventually Arabic, or introduced by settlers, including Hittite, Hurrian, Carian, and Aramaic. Most languages that seem related to Egyptian, including the Berber, Cushitic, Chadic, and Omotic languages of Africa, have much more recent written histories. While some of the Semitic languages of the Middle East do have long written histories, their relationship to Egyptian is not very close, especially with regard to the words they use. The ancient language of neighboring peoples in Nubia, Libya, and the desert are also lost to us except through a handful of personal names such as Taharqa, biblical Tiharqa, place names such as Cush, biblical Cush, and occasional loan words in Egyptian such as Hebben, which is Ebony. During the during the mid-first millennium BC, Egyptian hieroglyphs were adapted to write the Nubian language Maoretic, but the language itself is unrelated to Egyptian. So what's interesting here is that we are told that most languages, and I start here, most languages that seem related to Egyptian, including Berber, Cushitic, Chadic, and Omotic languages of Africa, he said that seem related. So as far as the author is concerned, they are not related. And he added, while some, I start here, while some of the Semitic languages of the Middle East do have long written histories, their relationship to Egyptian is not very close. That was especially speaking. And just before I let you have the floor, brother Afro-Asiatic, to the brother, the alchemist Nicola, and anybody else, if you become a member so that you can have the Medu Neter lessons or classes, remember to send an email to me. It's important, okay? So send your availabilities to me, okay? So just for the record, I'm typing in my email address, but this is just for the Medu Neter, brothers and sisters. Please respect that. If you have questions, I'm live streaming on a very regular basis, so I can answer you during the live stream, but I cannot take the time to answer individual questions via email. So whoever is joining and becoming a member via YouTube, remember to send your email address to me, or you can just well, you don't have to send your email address to me. You can just send an email to me directly and tell me, okay, those are the days where I'm available. Those are the time slots where I'm available. I will reply and tell you when I am also available. And once we find a time slot that is suitable for both of us, then we will start with the classes, okay? So feel free to add on, brother Afro-Asiatic. Maybe he's busy right now. Okay, there you go. There you go, brother. I don't know. He's muted, so maybe he's a bit busy.
Yeah. Pardon me, Shaka. Yeah. Well, what I would say, close that door, Joe. Close the door for me. Thank you. Well, what I would say is we have arguments on both sides, and I think that it is I think that it's we should consider, have you considered data on the other side that says that there is a connection, or do you just read the linguists that say that there is no kinship or connection between the two?
Well, a connection, that's a bit loose. The author mentioned, and it's still on the screen right now, loan words like Hebony. And I've made a video about that. It's on my channel, so anybody can type Ma'at forever Ibani. You will see it's from a University of England, St. Andrews, if I'm not mistaken, where you have a text with the Medu Neter transcript and the transliteration. And we can see that word Hebony, and it's from that word that we have the English word Ibani. So if someone says, well, there's a connection between English and the Medu Neter, what does it mean? You see? Right. So you might have loan words indeed, but to say that they are related, they are in the same language family indeed that they call Afro-Asiatic. At one point, I think it was called Hamido-Semitic, something like that.
But Afro-Asian.
No, Afro-Asian, that's the linguists don't. The linguists don't have any such thing of Afro-Asian,
Oh, yes,
not
they
to my
do.
knowledge. Which
Yes,
one?
they do.
Which one?
Baumhard calls it
Bomha.
Afrasian. I got the source. You want me
Okay,
to show it?
can you spell his name, please?
You want me to show the source?
If you can, yes, but I don't think you are able to show sources because
All
you
right,
usually
here's
say that you're not able to. But can you tell me? Can you spell his name for me?
um Baumhard. Yeah, that's why I was just gonna pull up the source.
Okay,
You
but
know,
feel free. Just put up the source. I'll be
okay.
very surprised that a linguist has any such thing as a family language family called did you say Afro-Asian?
Uh it's the Afrasian, yeah, comparative study of languages.
All right, okay.
Am I
So you'll
sharing?
say oh well done, brother. You've improved your game.
Oh,
Congratulations. You see your
thank
screen
you.
is sharing right now. We can see your screen right now.
Okay. Hold on one second. Um,
And I like that. That's progress. I like
ah,
that.
yeah, Shaka, I can't just be getting in here wrangling with. See, I'm still messing up, Shaka.
Mhm.
I can't get in here, with my brother all the way across the water and be, let me see where I gotta go. How do I get to my? I'm
Or
trying.
if you want, brother,
I got it.
I can. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to propose to remove the screen. You know what? Let me remove the screen because you have all your stuff. I mean, it's very small. We cannot really see the name, the file names. But um, when you're ready, tell me,
Okay.
and then I will put your screen up. And
Okay.
and in the
Um,
meantime, oh yeah, okay, yes, go ahead.
Matter of fact, I do have. Well, I do have Baumhard, but I wanted to go to an even better source, Blackzek. Uh, Blackzek.
But
This
brother,
here,
just to make sure we are in agreement,
right?
because you mentioned a study, comparative study. That's one thing. But are you definitely saying that you know a linguist, at least one, that mentions a language family called Afrasian?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Afroasian. Yeah. But
Okay.
this is another comparative study right here by Blackzek, who is also a linguist, Levant
And
and North Africa.
at the end of the day, Afro-Asiatic and Afro-Asian is that those two terms are both close. Close. Sorry, close. You see.
Yes.
So tell me whenever you're ready, so I can put the screen up. Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Well, can you do the share thing again? Because this
Can
one
I
is
do the
mine.
share again?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I done messed up.
No, no. I mean, I removed the stuff from the screen, but um, I only removed it. But it's okay. You can just you know how to do it. You did it already. It's at the bottom, and you
Right.
have share screen. Yes. So in the meantime, we have Mr. Sharp who wrote Phoenician. Is derived from Medu Neter. I can see your screen now. There it is.
You got
Is your
it?
screen? Yes. So we can see your screen now.
Okay.
Now, yeah. And Mr. Sharp also says the Romans language are derived from Phoenician. And we have Sherry Antoinette as well. So now, yeah, we can see it looks like a PDF.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, can you go to the beginning? So
Uh-huh.
it says Levant and North Africa, Afro-Asiatic linguistic history. Yeah, so just feel free to 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 show us what you want.
Yeah, I just wanted to really show his breakdown, is interesting, but it's easier to you know, get it on the map. Yeah, this is where he places the you see the screen, Shaka?
Yes, okay. This is a map of Africa with different languages and arrows. Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah. This is where he places Blagzek, Vlag, Blagzek, Russian linguist. He places the origin of the Afro-Asiatic language in the Levant area, and a subsequent spread throughout Egyptian comes down, Berber from, I guess we can say, the northeast comes down into the Nile Valley, and then Omatic and Cushitic come through the Arabian Peninsula and into the Horn of Africa, according to his theses here on the map. I just think that, and it branches out into Chadic, uh, Northern Berber, all the way down to South uh, Cushitic, the Hollow, and East Semitic, Beja, Agal languages, which are all Afro-Asiatic. And Kemet would be right about in this area, the Sudan, down here, Nubia. But it's just interesting. We have arguments, on both sides, right now, today. But I just think it's something that we should consider. And
But if you don't mind, brother, can you go up just so I can look up the name of the author?
yeah, yep,
Oh yeah, thank you. So let me write it. So um
Black Cloud,
blah
Black.
blah blah. Now,
Took
can you
me a
show
couple
us?
weeks to learn how to pronounce that name.
Well, I don't even think I ever know how to pronounce it, but I have
Right.
it written. I have it written down. So, but you can do a search on the PDF file, right?
Yeah.
So can you look up Afrasian?
Afrasian.
Yes, because
Uh,
you said he mentions Afrasian, right?
right. I just wanted to read something from his theses, though, real quick. If you don't
But
mind.
but oh, you're welcome. But just so we can get that out of the way, uh, are you using like a Mac, or are you using like a Windows PC?
Uh, I believe it's just a regular PC. It ain't no Mac.
So you can just do Control F, Control plus F.
Uh-huh.
Control, it should be at the
Hmm.
bottom left corner.
Uh-huh.
So and you just press it, and you hold it, and you press F at the same time,
Hmm.
and you will have a box where you can just do a search. So then you can type Afrasian. Yeah, there it is. And you can type Afrasian, and we will see if there's any result for that.
See, I'm learning, brother. You teaching me.
Yeah, no problem. Well, apparently we have 3 entries.
Yeah.
So, oh yes, indeed, yeah, Afrasian languages, but this looks like footnotes.
Yeah.
So it might not be that one who talks about Afrasian, and we don't see language family so far, but we see Afrasian languages.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see Sumerian and Afrasians. So
Mm-hmm.
these must be people, probably. Well,
Yes.
obviously, Afrasians, it has to be people. And then at the bottom, we have Omotic Afrasian case. So far, we don't have the mention of language family, but it does say Afrasian languages indeed. So feel free to read what you wanted to share with us.
Yes, sir. I have the Baumhard Afrasian comparative phonology and vocabulary. I believe that I do have that on deck too, but I had just wanted to read something real quick from here.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding the tree diagram in figure 1.5, the hypothetical scenario of disintegration of Proto-Afroasiatic should contain two non-synchronic migrations from the Levant homeland. Firstly, Cushitic and Omatic separated circa the 10th millennium BCE during the late Natufian archaeological phase and spread into the Arabian Peninsula and ultimately across the Red Sea into Eritrea and Ethiopia, chapter 12. Secondly, Egyptian, Berber, and Chadic split from Semitic, the latter remaining in the Levant around the 8th millennium BC, and the dispersal into the Nile Delta and Valley. The dispersal of Cushitic languages. There is general agreement about the classification of Cushitic. Only the positions of Yucca and Dahalo are problematic, having been influenced by strong substrata and abstrata. Erid et al. 1989, having identified a Cushitic-like substratum in modern South Arabian. Metalev, 1984, also Belivar proposed that Cushites originally lived throughout the Arabian Peninsula. Thus, would have been the original southern neighbors of the Semites, who then assimilated those Cushites who did not move into Ethiopia. It's an interesting thesis that the author puts up. Um, you know, what do you think of his thesis, Shaka?
Well, it looks like it looks like a theory. It's not something accepted. It's not a consensus.
It's becoming
So
increasingly acceptable when we look at other
accept,
factors.
well, you know, people have theories about black holes and three-dimensional and time travel. Is it possible or not? Can we go on Mars? Some people think it's possible. Can we live on Mars?
Yeah,
Those are theories, you know. Those are theories.
right.
And it's a bit strange when I read that it's author mentioning Berber, Egyptian, and some other languages coming out of the Semitic. And
Mhm.
when he says Semitic, that's not clear at all. Semitic is not a language, you see, because the quote that I read,
Uh-uh. No, go out. I'm doing something.
the
No,
quote,
go out. I'm doing something. Close the door.
the quote that I read mentions, and I can read it again for anybody that might have just arrived. I'm going to remove that one, or maybe if I
Hmm.
do that, okay, yeah. It says there that Egyptian has the longest recorded history of any language. So this author, this PhD says that the Egyptian, and that's the Medu Neter, of course, has the longest history. So if it has the longest recorded history, how is it possible that it derives from the Semitic? And once again, the Semitic is not a language. You see, Semitic is not the language. Do you agree with that?
Well, when we looked at the map just then, he pointed out that it was really talking about Afro-Asiatic because he had two A's in the Levant. So I reckon that he meant Afro-Asiatic, but talking about the Semitic branch of
Mhm.
Afro-Asiatic.
Wow.
So I think it all falls under the umbrella of the Afro-Asiatic phylum,
But
or
then again,
family.
that's not a language because if they include the Egyptian into the Afro-Asiatic family,
Hmm.
then whenever they try to say such and such language derived from the Semitic or the Afro-Asiatic languages,
Hmm.
it might have derived from the Egyptian. One could argue that, you know. But then
Oh,
again, um, Afro-Asiatic is not a language, Semitic is not a language, but Egyptian or ancient Egyptian Medu Neter is a language, you know. So far, well, at least according to Bill Manley, the Medu Neter has the longest recorded history of any language.
hmm.
You see, so and now if people want to show connection between the Medu Neter and different Asiatic languages, then they are free to do so. They can make the demonstration anytime they want. Let me just say for the record, now we have a brother. Now I don't want to say his name because he might not want his name out there. Uh, but it starts with a S. and the other name starts with a J. And I've received the cash app that you've sent to me. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Um, and also in the chat we have username with Ra who wrote, I am Ma'at Reeducation. I don't know what reeducation means.
Maybe he
Maybe he
meant
meant,
re-education.
yes, that's what I was about to say.
Pardon me,
Maybe
Chuck.
he meant, no, it's all good. It's all good, brother. No problem
Mhm.
at all. Maybe he meant that. But the face, I'm wondering if
Yeah.
it's the guy who used to call in, who's with a white, I'm sorry, with a black wife. But I forgot what his name was before. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering if it's him. Um, but going back to what Mr. Sharp wrote, he wrote that Phoenician is derived from the Medu Neter and that the Romans languages are derived from Phoenician. And he's probably talking about what I'm about to show, brothers and sisters.
I agree with that. Greek definitely, I believe, came from the Phoenicians' contact with those Greeks in the Mediterranean.
Well, the things that we have to make the distinction between the language and the script. Now, I'm
Hmm.
just going to share. Well, first, I will send the link on the chat. So,
Yeah,
okay, I will
brothers.
put alphabet origin. Yeah, go ahead, brother. What did you say?
No, I was going to tell brothers and sisters, come on in. Brother Shaka is a solid host. You know, he's a good host. Really.
Thank you. Now, let me share the screen. I've shared the link in the chat already, and now this is probably what Mr. Sharp was referring to. Now, this is taken from Anthony Brother's book entitled Nine Valley Contributions to Civilization. This is page 170 and page 171. So, Anthony, for those who are tribalistic, because it's a reality, we have some people who feel like, it's only right and exact if you come from African Americans. This brother is an African American, so just for those who are tribalistic. And for those who don't know, Anthony Brother has been doing some digging in Kemet for many years. So what we can see, and I think it's large enough now, is it? Oh, I have a little bit of room. So how about now? Okay. What we can see here is the Kemetic, 1200 BC. This is the ox head, the ox's head. And then we have Semitic. Once again, Semitic is not language. 1500 BCE, Aleph, ox. So for those who don't know, we have the term alphabet. Alphabet comes from Aleph, beta, and that is indeed the Semitic language. Some people can say Hebrew, some people can say Aramaic, and you are free to ask a linguist to confirm. But then from the ox's head, we have the Aleph, which is also an ox. Then we have the Aleph, the Phoenician Aleph, 1000 BC. And then we have apparently the Greek Alpha. And finally, the Roman letter A. See? And then we have different examples. So I don't know how far or how much linguists agree with that, but we can see the symbols from the Medu Neter and how it ultimately goes through the Semitic, the Phoenician, the Greek, and finally the Roman. So people can take heed to that. Now, amazingly, this twisted rope here stands for the sound H in Medu Neter. And the proposition from this chart is that from this Medu Neter H symbol, H sound symbol, we do have the H in our Roman script. Now, however, when it comes to the hand, in Medu Neter, the hand is the sound, is the D sound or D sound, you see? So going from the D to the I is unlikely phonetically, but in terms of the symbol, who knows, you see? So here, the report of water, that stands for the sound N in Medu Neter. And the proposition here is that we go from N to M. Now, amazingly, this symbol here, I will need to look for the video, but I don't know the title. Let me see if I can find the title. I made some comparison with Medu Neter, and I'll put Arabic. Maybe it will come up.
Yeah,
Oh, there it is. There it is. The video here. Just bear with me, please, brother.
Go ahead, bro.
Now the video is called Coptic and Arabic Similarities by way of Medu Neter. So I'm going to first share that in the chat, so those who will look at the video later on will be able to have the source. There it is. And then I'm going to share the screen. I think it might be the S sound, the sin, as they call it in Arabic. Well, there it is.
Sin is the moon.
Larger. Let me make it larger. So, where was I? Oh, that's the, hold on. Oh, I did not share it. Let me share it now. Share screen. There it is. I'll make it larger. Okay, so this is just taken from the video. Now we have this Medu Neter glyph reference M8. You can look it up. I have a full hieroglyphic sign list, and you have the link in the description of most of my videos, including this one. And this glyph here stands for the sh sound. So I was actually close, and you will understand why. Now in Hieratic, which is a more linear form of the Medu Neter, this is what it looks like.
Looks
now,
like Arabic. Looks like Arabic.
Yeah, it does. Most people say that the Hieratic and Demotic, but does look like Arabic. Many people say that. And then we have the Coptic sh. Now this S with that thing on top of it, which is very small here, but this is a way to transliterate the sound sh, you see. And we still have that symbol there that looks very close to that one there. And if you compare with the and actually what is too small here for you to see, where I have my cursor on the last bottom right square, you have it at the bottom left side here where my cursor is. So if you compare this Coptic shy, which is the sh sound, and here you can see the S with that little symbol on top of it, well, you can compare this with the Hieratic. And the Hieratic, if you follow my cursor, it's there. And then if you go to the middle, the bottom and middle, you have the Arabic sin, which is the S sound. Now look at the shape of it. It looks quite close. So one might be it might be legitimate in claiming some connection somehow, some way. But we're talking about the symbol, you see, and the sound. Now check this out. Some of you might say, well, this is a Coptic shy, and even in the Medu Neter is the sh sound, not the S sound. But look at the right, bottom right, we have the Arabic shin, which is a sh sound. Now in Arabic, the letter for sin, or the S sound, and the shin, which is the sh sound, the letter is actually the same. The distinction is made with those three dots there. When you have those three dots on top of the sin, it becomes the sh, the shin, you see. So that was just for the record. I was a bit long-winded. Feel free, brother Afro Asiatic.
Yeah, I think, well, I know that's the script, and the language definitely, it implies a similar meaning or basically the same meaning, that I would say, in my reasoning, I would say that there's a definite connection or kinship between the languages. I just think, our people, I believe it was a massive empire. I don't think it was small. I believe it covered the vast area. And at one time, people spoke those languages, dark skinned people, melanated people. But that includes the Levant, and Arabia, all the way, in my opinion, to Iran. I believe it was all melanated. But you know, there's just arguments on both sides. And did you want to look at the bomb hard, because I have that on the PDF too, and I have some quotes for you from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on Prophet Muhammad, that he was a black man.
Oh, you are free to read your quotes. I would just go through the comments real quickly. Now, Mr. Sharp wrote, "Cool. I can never find links on this subject." And he also added, "I think a lot of historians agree." Yes, I mean, it's difficult to disagree, particularly with that one that I showed you. Now, the one that I showed you, I think on the video, it will lead you to my website, because there's other examples. And as a matter of fact, our brothers and sisters, let's look at the other examples, so we get that out of the way. A lot of people will be surprised, and we can see the significance of the Medu Neter. Now, let me go back to the video there. Now, this one, that was about the sh sound. Now, the other example, okay, that's the ad. I gotta wait a few seconds to skip the ad. Okay. So this one is for the sh. Oh, actually, no, I don't have. I thought I had it. I thought I had it on my website, but I did not share the link. Well, it's on the video, but I think I have it on. I have an article on my website. So let me scroll through. I know there's other examples. There it is. This one is with the F sound. Now, what we have first is the viper, the horned viper. And in Medu Neter, the reference is I9. Oh, you know what? Let me just answer. Let me just answer Corey QUD, who asks, Shaka, do you teach a course in Medu Neter? I wish I could read a lot of these ancient texts. Yes, I do teach the Medu Neter. I've been teaching it for a while now. So I'm sharing the link in the chat. And it's very cheap compared to what it used to be. But I already explained why, so I don't want to be redundant. But it costs less than $20 per month. And you will have one class per week. So you are free to compare with any other people who give Medu Neter classes. It's definitely very affordable. You have 2 testimonials that you can hear at the end of my live streams in the outro. And it's done directly on YouTube. So you have the link if you want to join. If you do decide to join, send an email to me, and I'm going to type my email address, and give me your availabilities. And I will also give you my availabilities. And once we agree on the time slot, then we will do it. Preferably a day where you will be available every week. Now, if it's not the case, it is what it is. I'm very flexible. But yes, I think I've given you all the information you need. Now, and by the way, for those who decide to join, it's done on YouTube. If for whatever reason you no longer want to be a subscriber, you can just cancel. It's that simple. So there's no obligation to take so many courses. And once again, it's less than $20 per month. So that being said, when Mr. Sharp wrote, I think a lot of historians agree, it's very difficult to disagree with the example that we've seen prior. But now we have the horned viper. This stands for the F sound or the F. In Hieratic, that's what it looks like. In Demotic, that's what it looks like. And finally, in Coptic, that's what it looks like. Now, the Coptic is very small here on that chart, but at the bottom left, you have the Hieratic F sound. Well, you don't have the Coptic, but the Coptic looks the same. You know, it's a bit small, but you have the link to the video so you can make it larger, you see. And on the right, we have the Arabic Fa, which is the F sound, of course. So if you compare the shape of the Hieratic F and the shape of the Arabic Fa, it looks similar. I'm not saying that the Arabic Fa derives from the Medu Neter F sound or the Hieratic F sound, but it looks similar. So the shape is similar, the sound is similar. So I guess someone will have a legitimate case to claim some connections somehow, somewhere. Some people might say it's just a coincidence. Hey, it is what it is. But those are just the script, not the language. Because for the record, if people don't really know the difference between the script and the language, in Pakistan, they speak Urdu, which is quite close to Hindi, the language spoken in India. And by the way, many of you, some might not know, but I think many of you know that Pakistan and India was or were one and the same at some point. So Urdu is written with Arabic letters or the Arabic script, just like the language spoken in Iran. Westerners call it Persian sometimes, maybe, but they call their language Farsi.
Yep.
They have other languages also that are also spoken. Well, okay, let me put it this way. In Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken, they have different languages like Pashto, and I forgot what the other one.
Yes.
And I think that you will find some of those the Pashto speakers in Iran as well. But anyway, to make the long story short, the Farsi or the language spoken in Iran is written with the Arabic script as well. So they use the Arabic letters, but it's not the Arabic language. Just like in Pakistan, they use the Arabic language for the Urdu, but it's not the Arabic language. It's just the script. Just like we can use a Roman script, A, B, C, D, and whatnot, all the way to the Z, or the Z, as they say in England. We can use this Roman script to write French, English, Swahili, but those are three different languages. So this was the example for the F or the F sound, and I think I have maybe one more example of similarity.
The scripts, pardon me, Shaka, the scripts are very close in their character. You know, the shape of the characters, they are very close.
Yes, it's very close. It's very close indeed. I mean, most people, that's the first thing they say. And I used to do tours of the Louvre Museum. So when I would, you know, either people would say straight away, oh, you know, the demonic Hieratic looks like Arabic, or I would ask people, does it look like something to you? And then they will reply. So now finally, we have the H sound. So we go from the Medu Neter, you see, and we oh damn, another ad. Well, you know what, brothers and sisters, I've shared the link. I've shared the link. So you had two examples. There's at least one more that we had on the screen for the H sound. There might be a last one. I don't remember because I've uploaded a video quite some time ago. So that's very, very interesting, brothers and sisters. I mean, languages is something really beautiful and lovely, and
indeed,
a lot of. Now you see, I don't want to sound condescending. I don't want to sound holier than thou. You probably heard me many times say, well, many of our people do linguistic acrobatics, linguistic gymnastics, and so on. But sometimes it's a reality. That's what they're doing, you know. They're doing wordplay. You understand what I'm saying? And one example, and no disrespect to whoever used that analogy, I'm aware that Khalid Abdul Muhammad used that analogy. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was knowledgeable. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yes, he was.
Now everybody make mistake. I made mistake in the past, but I'm sorry to claim a relationship between the Ka and the Ba of the Medu Neter and the Kaaba of Saudi Arabia. To me, is inaccurate. To me, is linguistic acrobatics and linguistic gymnastics
Oh, the most
because,
shocking.
well, let me say why I'm saying this. Ka in Medu Neter means spirit. Ba in Medu Neter means soul, or at least that's what is translated as by the majority of Egyptologists, the experts, the specialists in the language. So someone needs to explain how we go from spirit, soul to cube, because Kaaba means cube. You see, within languages you can find sounds that are the same. You can find homonyms, but in this case, Kaaba is not even a Medu Neter word. Those are two different words that till this day I've yet to see together. When I say together, I mean one after another. So not only Kaaba in Medu Neter is not a word, not that I know of. If it exists, someone will demonstrate.
Mm.
But even the two separate words, Ka and Ba, I have yet to see them together. You see?
Right.
So it sounds good to a lot of people, but it's not factual to
Well,
claim. Yes, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
given the geography of Kemet, um, and that northern corridor from the Sinai Peninsula, they're not far apart geographically as far as the Kaaba and Mecca and the actual nation state of what we would call Kemet. They're not far apart at all. I could see migration or a lot of contact. Well, we do have contact with trade. We know that from the Obsidian in pre-dynastic Kemet. We know that from the Abyssinian trade that there was a lot of trade going on between those on the in the Kemetic nation state and people in the Levant that I believe, and also current genetic data states that these were all different types of Africans. So I don't think it's a stretch that Kaaba would have a relationship with the Ka and the Ba in Kemet. Now, where it begins first, that would be, an argument for me. But there's no doubt in my mind that there's a connection there, kinship, linguistic and genetic.
Well, brother, when you say that there must have been, I forgot exactly the wording that you used, but you said something to the effect of, um, yes, there must have been some contact. I agree with that. I
Mm.
agree with that. And
One sec.
probably
Peace to
there
the
was some
brother.
contact. Yes, please, brother. Please bear with us just one moment, brother Sharp. You're gonna have a chance to speak, and welcome to you. And if you don't mind, uh, if you don't mind muting your muting yourself, brother. Thank you very much. So, well, I will do it myself. Okay, you're on the panel. I just muted you because I could hear the echo of the. Anyway, so yes, probably there was some contact indeed, but the thing, brother Afroasiatic, is that to what extent, you see, um, the Arab people are not documented in Kemet. Uh, Even the so-called Hebrews or Canaanites, usually the area is called Syria, Palestine. You see, so there was some contact with people from Canaan, later on known as Palestine, later on known as Israel. But when it comes to Arabia, I don't know it all, but I don't recall any writing from Kemet that specifically talks about some people from Arabia. It's usually talking about sea people, Asiatics, shepherd kings. Now, the shepherd kings that will be the Hyksos, the Hekahasut, or foreign rulers. You see, so to think that there might have been something, that's one thing, but can it be demonstrated? And even if, let's say, we have some records from Kemet that talks about Arabs and Arabia or Arabia, what does that have to do with any genetic relationship or linguistic relationship? You see? So Anthony Harris wrote Asiatic Descent about genetics, bro. I mean, if you want to argue that the Arabs of, let's say, 1500 BC or 2000 BC are related to the people of Kemet, well, by all means, let us know who says that, which specialist says that. But to my understanding, that doesn't exist. Does that exist, brother?
I I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, it's all good. Let's welcome our brother Sharp. Sharp,
Hey, how you
welcome.
Peace,
doing?
brother Sharp.
You got yourself a nice haircut. I remember the last
Thanks,
time.
thanks.
And I will do the same too because my geometry is not on point right now. Feel free to speak, brother.
Sharp to say
Yeah,
geometry. Go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry you can barely see me. I got bad lighting, but
Oh, don't worry
um,
about this, brother. Don't worry about this. It's all good,
but
brother.
anyway, you guys were talking about the what the relationship between the Arabs and the Egyptians, right?
Well, Afro-Asiatic is no surprise. He's of the opinion that the Arabs, as well as many people from the east, that is, the Levant, Sumer, yes, Semitic people, let's say Semitic people. He's of the opinion that they are kinfolk with ancient Egyptians. Or to make the long story short, he's of the opinion that the Arabs were black.
Well,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
we know I'm really not great with the dynasties and everything, but during definitely like the from like I think 1800 to 1500, like the Egyptians, like the Kemet, like they occupied the Levant, right? Um, from 1800 BC to 1500 BC, or I think even later on. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that there are black people there. But as far as but was it my opinion that what was the question?
Well, there were not really any question because you were asking if we're talking about relationship between people from Kemet and Arabia. So, indeed, Kemet had dominion over some parts of the Levant at some point. Maybe the biggest extent of the empire was with Jehutimes or Thutmoses.
Hmm.
But well, there were a few Thutmoses. Now I forgot if it's the second or the third. Or is it Jehutimes or is it Mentuhotep? Actually, I have a doubt now. I'm not really sure now. But the
There's
thing is
so
that
many.
the possibility of having black people in the Levant, that's one thing. Now, who were those black people? Were they the Egyptians that went over there? Or were they indigenous black Arabs? Besides, I don't know if you're aware, but we have depictions of Asiatics. Now, then again, one might argue, well, those are Asiatics. We don't know if they are Arab people. But the ancient Egyptians, they portrayed Asiatics, and we can clearly see that they are white skinned, Caucasoid type, you see.
Hmm.
So it's very unlikely to me that the Asiatics around Kemet were white skinned, but that Arabia, for some unknown reason, they happen to be black. You see?
Right, right, and yeah, I mean, there definitely were probably some black people from Egypt that assimilated into the Levant culture. I probably got the dates wrong. It's probably because I know the Hyksos. After they kicked out the Hyksos, that's when they started to occupy the Levant, right? And I think that was like in the 1600s or something like that.
Um, well, I wouldn't really know about the date. Um, it was a family of Amos and Kamos, uh, the 18th dynasty
Yeah,
that chased away the Hyksos. So some people might say just before the 18th dynasty. The 18th dynasty, they might say the 18th dynasty starts after the expulsion or after the Hyksos were expelled. Um,
and yeah,
Kemet ruled over Canaan, or let's say some
mhm.
part of Canaan.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure if it's after. It will make sense that it's after, because they
Yeah,
chased them, and that's where they went to seek refuge, and that's
and
one of
that's
the reasons why some historians, some people feel like, okay, um, those people were from over there because that's where they fled to, and then they will kind of try to look for some explanation about, okay, maybe the Exodus story is not so much folklore, maybe it's some remnants of what happened with those Hyksos. Maybe they they did not rule, they did not have any Joseph that was second to the Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh forgot about Joseph and mistreated the Hebrews, and then the Hebrews fled, and Pharaoh died in the water with his army because that's undocumented.
yeah,
Maybe we had the Hyksos who were actually expelled, and somehow, some way, people were lost in translations. So sometimes it's a way for them to quote unquote validate the biblical narrative. But feel free, brother.
yeah, and also on that subject, if you look at Dr. Clyde Winters, he has a couple of books. And he's got I saw a YouTube video, and he said that he has a theory that the Hyksos might have actually been Nubian, based on the language.
Yes, I agree with him.
But I
Clive
mean,
Winters.
that's a controversy.
Clive Winters. I've heard him. I've heard him make
Good point.
a fair bit of exotic claims. You
Right.
see, and it's the first time I hear that. You know, I mean, um, the first time I heard someone claim that the Hyksos were black is someone called Asaim Hotep, but he no longer holds that opinion now. And back then, he used to talk about the Hapiru. Now, some people they pronounce Hapiru Hapiru because of the I. Now, Hapiru is a group of people that's documented in Kemet, still the same Asiatic slash sea people. And what people have tried to do, and we can all notice how much they try to validate the biblical narrative using the writing from Kemet, because it's ancient writing that is contemporaneous of the era, of the time period of the. But anyway, they try to make the correlation between the term Hapiru, or as they pronounce it, Haparu, and the word Hebrew. When once again, I'm sorry when I repeat myself, brothers and sisters, but some people reach the live stream and it's the first time for them. They're not familiar with the channel. So in Hebrew language, we don't say Hebrew. It's Ivri. It's with a V, not with a B. Even if in the Hebrew language, they will pronounce the word Ibri or with a B, because they say it comes from Ibrahim, meaning to
Correct.
cross. Just like Arab has something to do with crossing or being nomads, wanderers.
Hebrew.
People will need to demonstrate how the Hapiru, or Haparu as they like to pronounce it, have anything to do with the so-called Hebrews, because Hebrews in history, and I'm talking ancient history during the time of Kemet, does that even exist?
Yes,
Do the
that's my point.
Hebrews exist in history? You see,
Yes,
it exists in the Bible.
you don't know.
Hebrew.
It exists in the
Well,
Bible, but can someone show me records like 1500 BC, 2000 BC, that talks about
Well,
Hebrew.
And
well,
also, yeah, and also another thing about that, what I think you might know something about how well it says basically, I'm pretty bad at my sources, but if you go online and you look it up, um the actual Hebrew language derived from Greek.
Well,
no,
there is a book called
no.
Hebrews Greek.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet. It seems quite unlikely to me,
It
but
is
if I
unlike
have time, I might
non-cycle.
start reading that book. But I'm actually planning on learning Greek as well. It will be helpful to me for the Coptic, because the Coptic language is written with Greek letters, except for 7 or 8 letters. I always forget how much it is exactly, 7 or 8, that the Copts came up with because it's a sound that doesn't exist in the Greek language. So, and besides helping me for the Coptic, therefore helping me with the understanding and likely pronunciation of the Medu Neter, because the Coptic is the latest phase or latest stage of the Medu Neter. It will also be helpful for general history as well. But um, to me, it's quite unlikely.
Mm.
And besides, I had a I had a quote from a website that it was a travel website, and I think I shared it during one of the live stream. But whenever I find a quote from some scholar or linguist or PhD historian, I will gladly share it. But some people are aware that the Hebrew language went through a reconstruction phase,
Mm.
and it is often said that they use a fair bit of Yiddish,
Yes.
and Yiddish is a language close to the Khazar people,
Khazar, yeah.
because
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
and the Khazar at one point converted to Judaism.
Yep,
The
for political
story,
reasons. Yep.
yeah, to make the
Mhm.
long story short, there's the Christian force and the Muslim force, and they have to make a choice. Maybe they didn't want to join one or the other,
Mhm.
so they decided, okay, Judaism predates those two, so we're going to choose Judaism and we'll be good.
Right.
Most likely the king decided to convert, and back then when the king has a religion, then hey, you have to get on board. You can get down or lay down, as we say
Mm.
now.
Facts.
So a fair bit of Yiddish, and that comes from the Caucasus, the Caucasus Mountains. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So
That's right.
we're far away from Canaan or Palestine. Now, that's not to say that the majority of the Hebrew language derives from the Yiddish, but then again, that being said, maybe someone who's listening can have a quote, and um, I don't want to rely on a quote from a travel website. I'm sure if I do a search now, that travel website will come up. But I have a few books about the Hebrew language, so whenever I find it, I will share it. So Hebrew deriving from Greek to me is very unlikely. Uh, I
Yeah.
mean, um, linguistics is a field that was there for a very long time. At some point, we might make some discoveries, but I'm not a linguist myself, but I don't think that linguistic is a field where we will make such a discovery that will just change our insight, because it's dealing with languages that we more or less know. And the Greek and the Hebrew are languages that are spoken today. They are living language today. Some people might argue that at one point Hebrew was no longer a living language. Some people might argue that. And then again, when we say Hebrew language, what are we talking about? Because
Yeah.
we're talking about Palestine or Canaan, and
Yeah.
they surely had different dialects.
They
You
had the
see,
That's
proto.
that's the
It's more
thing.
like, yeah. It's more likely that it's derived from the Proto Phoenician or the Proto Sinaitic, right? If I'm getting that wrong, I might be getting that wrong.
well, and that's the thing. You see, that's the thing, because when we say Phoenician, um, if we look it up, and I did back then on Encyclopedia Britannica, he's dealing with. Well, you know what? We're going to do that for everybody, for the benefit of the
Yeah,
court.
I wanted to just stick on Eber though 1 second,
Yes,
because
feel free, brother.
when we look at Eber, it's from my study, it's a distinct term from Hebir or the Hebiru that you referred to a second ago. When we look at because we can find Hebiru, we can find that in stone in the Amarna letters that would also relate to the 18th dynasty. But it's a distinct term for Eber because they are described very differently. When we look at the Amarna letters, the Hebrew of the Amarna letters are also the Akkadian Sagasu. They were described as filthy, dirty murderers and vagabonds that came out of the northern steppes, some out of the European steppes to the immediate north, and then some further west out of the area of the Zagros Mountains. Those were two distinct terms. But when we look at the term Eber, we can isolate, remove the vowels, and it's the consonant root would be BR. So we do see those consonant roots within the term Hebrew. So that's where I would place it. From my background, from my study, Eber, BR.
Let me get it straight, brother. Are you of the opinion that the Hebrews are the Hapiru?
That's exactly what I said. They're not. I said the Habiru is a different term from Eber.
Okay. Okay.
And those terms were
Okay.
mixed up. We can find a
Okay.
description in stone in the Armada letters. They are
Okay.
described very differently.
All
Eber,
right.
I would say, is the term closer to that word Hebrew, and they do carry that consonant root. We know that we were dealing with adjabs or languages that did not have vowels.
No, brother, hold on. We have to be careful there. And then again, I'm not a specialist. I'm not an expert. I'm not a linguist. So people can just contact linguists. I usually say you just go online and look up a university, and you will have contact details, and you can send an email and ask them. But to say that there's no vowels, just so that people understand, we're talking about the script.
Yes.
When they speak their language, there are vowels, you see.
Yes.
And
Diacritic
that's a huge
marks. Yes.
Yes, the diacritical marks, indeed. The kasra, the fatah, and so on. So, and besides those marks, they still have vowels with the letters, besides the diacritical marks. So that's a big misconception that people have with the Medu Neter. They feel like in the Medu Neter, there's no vowel, but we have vowels. We don't have it all the time, but that's just with the script, For what reason it's like that? And at the end of the day, to some respect, we kind of do the same thing when we have acronyms. You see, we say TV, but initially that's not a word. So if there's a catastrophe, and then people come across our language and they say, "Oh, he was looking at the TV, but there's no vowel. What is TV?" You see what I'm saying?
Well, you gotta keep in mind though, like a lot of the written languages across the continent of Africa are actually, not meant for everyone to become fluent and literate, and there's only a select group of people that are, if you go from Insibidi to the Bai language, a lot of these languages are not meant for the commoner, and certainly not outsiders to be able to read, so that might play a part in it too.
Well, I feel you, but when it comes to the Medu Neter, it's not in the same realm. The Medu Neter is written all over on artifacts and so on. And indeed, it's interesting what you're saying, because some of our people love to say, oh, the Medu Neter, white people, Caucasian, they cannot know the Medu Neter. It's a language for us. You have to be black to understand. You have to be spiritual to understand. And I just beg to differ. A language, just like science, doesn't have any color. Anyone can speak any language, really, But now let's look together at what Phoenician is. So this is Encyclopedia Britannica. And I'm sorry because it's probably a bit small. Well, it is actually small. It is a bit small. If some of you are on a PC and you can see the full screen, then you'll be able to read it. But I will just go ahead and read it for you, brothers and sisters. It's not long, as you can see. Phoenician language, a Semitic language of the northern central, often called northwestern group, spoken in ancient times on the coast of Syria and Palestine, entire. Now I'm not sure how to pronounce that word in English. In French, we would say Tyre. So entire Sidon, Byblos, and neighboring towns, and in other areas of the Mediterranean colonized by Phoenicians. Phoenician is very close to Hebrew and Moabite, with which it forms the Canaanite subgroup of the northern central Semitic languages. The earliest Phoenician inscription probably dates from the 11th century BCE. The latest inscription from Phoenicia proper is from the 1st century BCE, when the language was already being superseded by Aramaic.
Mm.
So that was just for the record, just so that people can have an overview of what the Phoenician language is. Now, if I look up Phoenician people, there it
They
is.
show a
Hold on,
lot of pictures of the white people,
uh,
which is
come again,
false.
brother. Come again, brother.
No, I said when we look it up, a lot of times they show pictures of European-looking people, but I believe that's pretty false.
Well, people from Kemet, they showed their neighbors as white-skinned people. So I would say that's accurate, according to the documentation.
But
Not,
but
not,
but
not.
but
Uh-uh.
but at the
Well,
same time, like
Go ahead, brother Sharp.
it depends on what time period, because
Exactly.
like what was that Greek? There was a Greek colony right next to Egypt called man, I forgot what the freak is called.
Minoans,
Nah, not the Minoans.
Crete,
Not Crete, but
all of those are dark skinned. They do have, some of them do have wavy hair, but they're dark skinned.
I forgot what if you look at man, Herodotus, he talks about it.
Yeah.
But it's actually on the continent of Africa. They had
Mhm.
a colony to the west of Egypt, and the Egyptians used Greeks as mercenaries too.
Mhm.
I forgot which pharaoh. But go ahead.
But
But you're talking
brother
about the
Sharp,
Libyans though.
brother Sharp, let's say the Egyptians have a colony of a Greek island or some Greek islanders. Does that make the Greeks black?
No.
Because Wesley Muhammad, when he came out on the scene talking these black Semites and black Arabs, he quoted Sheikh Anta Diop from his book African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality. And there's a quote from Diop that says, now for those who don't know Sheikh Anta Diop, he was a PhD, a historian, and a scientist dealing with, carbon dating,
Mhm.
and he asked for sample of 1 square millimeter. Now, I know you
Melanin
don't deal
dosage
with
test.
millimeter. Come again,
Melanin
brother?
dosage test.
Yes, he wanted to exactly test the melanin from the
He
mummies.
invented it. He invented the melanin dosage test.
It's probably indeed, because Diop, Sheikh Anta Diop, is known mainly for his contribution um, uh, with the peopling or let's say the ethnicity of the ancient Egyptian. And
Yeah.
of course, the 1974 Cairo Symposium assisted with Theophado Benga, who is also a PhD and a linguist
Mhm.
and a historian, I can say as well. Theophado
Gotta
Benga
love
is still
Theo.
alive, for those that don't know, and he's back on the motherland now. He's been teaching in America for many years. So Theophado Benga is a giant, and Sheikh Anta Diop was also a giant. And the quote says that, now I'm paraphrasing, but it says something to the extent of Arabia was a Negro colony.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, it was a Jedi trick, because I had to show that slide that he presented on the screen, and make the analogy and explain to the people. France had colonies in the Caribbeans, and they colonized parts of Africa. That doesn't make the Caribbean people or the African people that were colonized by France, it does not make them French people, you see? So indeed, you have the kingdom or empire of Aksum you had the Negus,
Assume. Yep.
the Ethiopian ruler, and at one point they had some sort of dominion over Arabia
They had
or parts
Arabian.
of
Yep.
Arabia. But
Southern
it
Arabian.
doesn't, yeah, so it does not make the Arabians black people, you see. Now, African Science wrote, is he a linguist? Didn't know that. Theophilo Benga is a linguist indeed. Yes, he's familiar with many languages. He's a real, well, I shouldn't have to say a real linguist, but he is a linguist, period, because we have, and I'm being diplomatic, I'm not going to say any names, we have some people who claim to be linguists, they don't have the certification or the degree, and I think it's misleading. I think it's fraudulent. It's as if someone have studied medicine and he says, I'm a medical doctor, but then again, I just said that for the record, I'm being diplomatic. You don't need to have a degree in order to have knowledge in a field, whether it's linguistic or not.
Mm-hmm.
But to claim to be a linguist is like claiming to be a medical doctor. It's like claiming to be a ophthalmologist. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English. You might have studied the eyes, but you don't have the degree. You are not qualified to do surgery in the eyes. You see. But anyway, that was just for the record.
I think it
So,
was the colony was called Cyrene. I believe that was a purely Greek colony, if I'm not mistaken.
and yeah, and well, I will finish with the Phoenician thing. So Phoenician, it says, is it sharing now? Yes. One of the people of ancient Phoenicia. There were merchants, traders, and colonizers who probably arrived from Persian Gulf circa 3000 BC. By the second millennium BC, they had colonies in the Levant, North Africa, Anatolia. Now, Anatolia, that's Turkey, and Cyprus. I'm sorry, they traded wood, doth, dyes, embroideries, wine, and decorative objects. Ivory and wood carving became their specialties, and the work of Phoenician goldsmith and metalsmiths was well known. Their alphabet became the basis of the Greek alphabet. See, we have a notable quote, which is Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, if I put Phoenicia, we are told that this is an ancient region corresponding to modern Lebanon, with adjoining parts of modern Syria and Israel. Its inhabitants, the Phoenicians, were notable merchants. Okay, it kind of says the same thing. So one thing interesting is that we are told that around the 3rd millennium BC, the Phoenicians probably arrived from the Persian Gulf. You see? Now, I know some of our people say, oh, the original Persians were black people. Basically, they claim that the original everybody were black. But we have a time period. We have a date. So now we have an idea when it comes to the Persian people. Now, as for the Greeks and the depiction of people painted black, I just come from Denmark. And even in Denmark, and I would try to take that habit, but most of the time I just go to the section about ancient Egypt. So it's not a priority for me to go to the section about Greece and show to the people those different vases where they painted some individuals with the black paint. But we can clearly see from their phenotype and their hair that those are white people.
No.
And that's, well, you can say, no, it's all good, brother. But I will really try to take that habit, They have painted, and the reason why I'm saying that is because the way those individuals are depicted, painted, whether it's the black with the black paint or the white paint, the phenotype is exactly the same. So if people really want to claim that we are seeing black people, what are they going to say when next to it we see people painted white?
But the same thing took place in Kemet, though, Shaka. We see depictions of African looking types next to types whose skin would appear to be whitened or could have been scraped off or altered, but phenotypically they look like Africans.
it was breaking up a little bit, but I know you mentioned people in Egypt, but um females are usually depicted lighter or with the yellow paint, and I've shown the convention according to the Louvre Museum. I did not make it up. Red ochre for the males and yellow ochre for the females, but that's just a convention. We have
Correct.
plenty of artifacts where they are clearly black slash dark brown slash brown skinned. And besides, whenever we have Egyptians sitting next to neighbors, foreigners, we can clearly see that they are darker. So those white Egyptians you're talking about, or white looking, white skinned Egyptians you're talking about, if it's not the late period,
I
circa
believe,
400 BC onwards, I don't know what you're talking about, brother.
I believe the Europeans scraped quite a few of them or sanded them down to try to write themselves into the history at certain points. Even though I would agree that they were there during the Ptolemaic period and as well in the 18th dynasty, because we have the account where Amenophis, the son of Hapu, he told Akhenaten that one day the lepers were going to come back and take over Kemet. And that was really a prophecy. But that came through Amenophis, the son of Hapu, to who was scribe of Amenhotep III. But he lived into Akhenaten's 30th said festival as well. So apparently it appears he lived for an unusual amount of time. But he indeed did tell him that the lepers were going to come back and take over Kemet. So there's evidence that Europeans were there in the 18th dynasty.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that.
You
But
you don't know who
we have
Amenhotep, the son of Hapu, is? The scribe of Amenhotep III?
I'm not too familiar with that, but we have records. Now, you want to say Europeans were in Kemet? Hey, you know, we've heard there were Libyans
It depends on the
mercenaries.
time period.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
18th
mean,
dynasty.
who are we talking about when we say Europeans? You're talking about lepers. Now
Yes.
we have records. We have mentions of Libyan mercenaries, but then again, the issue is that some of our people claim that those Libyans were black, including Wesley Mohammed. You see, but when we see the
Libyans
Libyans,
were black.
well, to you, everybody were black, and that's a problem, because you even said earlier that those
Everybody
people
was
from
black. The whole planet was.
come again.
I said, yeah, the whole planet was black. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair game. But we're talking about a particular time period, you see.
Mhm.
So, and the important things with those vases from Greece, I show the reference, I show the date, you see. So, I just want to say before I let Sharp speak, because I'm going to go home now.
I gotta get off too.
It doesn't look like it, but I'm in my car right now, actually.
Oh,
Just want to say to African Science. Now, the brother, he did claim that he is a linguist. He did that several times. One time he even spoke with a linguist, a brother who lives in Ghana now, who is also an African American, and that PhD asked him if he had any formal training, and the other brother replied yes. And when he asked him, where or with who, the other brother gave names of some linguists, but that was misleading. If he has a degree in linguistics, he's free to show it. But I'm saying, for the record, I don't have any hate towards our brother. He acted slick back then. I kind of had to spank him, but it's all good, because lately he retracted his former weird claims of Hebrews in Kemet and Hapiru being black, or Hyksos being black, because that's what he used to claim back then. So I'm saying, for the record, and I know many people have heard him claim that he did claim to be a linguist. One time, his own fellow squad member got at him for that claim. He told him, a linguist. I even uploaded that. But I don't hate the dude. I don't hate him. I'm being political. Now, brother Sharp, feel free to speak, brother. Feel free to speak.
I think Clyde Winters was saying like he was talking about the pronouncing of like the Hyksos. That word itself was, he said, like it actually meant like Hekasut or Kush or whatever. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Correct.
But you know, I haven't seen that video in a minute. But another interesting thing is how when you talk about the Phoenician language and like how and when it transitions into Punic, that was something I think that was on the slide that you showed. It says that the Punic language was influenced by the Amazigh people, and those people are I think they have a language called Tifinagh, right?
Tamashek.
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 So I mean, you know, I guess that proves, like, going back to what Afro-Asiatic was saying about you know, Carthage and the Punic people, like they had a wide variety of different people. I mean, not just white people, but black people. Greeks lived there too. But I guess that's going off topic.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
all good. It's all good, brother. It's all good because we're going to conclude soon.
yeah,
But I'm glad you said that, brother. It's another opportunity for me to encourage everybody. Please, brothers and sisters, go to a museum near you. If you are in a big city, there's likely a museum with a fair bit of artifact showing people from the Levant, showing people from Greece and different areas. Now, Carthage, that's Tunisia, that's the
yeah,
Maghreb, North Africa. The Tunisians today, they are white skinned. There are some black people who live in Tunisia, like you have black people who live in different parts of the Maghreb, like you have black people who live in Russia. Nobody will claim that we are indigenous to Russia. But that being said, I've shown artifacts of people from Carthage. They are white skinned with the same white hair that Caucasians have today and the same white phenotype.
In
But because
Tunisia?
many of brother, Carthage, that's Tunisia, right? Do we agree on that?
yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Let me look for it now. Let me look for it
No,
now.
that's North Africa though, Shaka. You telling me the
Yes,
indigenous people there were Caucasian? Absolutely not.
brother. The things that I'm not talking about indigenous people. That's too
Okay.
loose. Because
Oh,
when you say indigenous, what time period are we talking about? I'm talking
Yeah.
about record. You see, once again, if people want to say 50,000 years ago the Russians were black, I don't deal with that type of dates. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing is this: if I put Carthage, I'm sure a video will show.
the
Hold on.
Russians did though, Shaka.
The Russians
That's
did
why they
what?
came with St. Peter's Square. Peter means black. They know Russia was
Okay,
black before they got
okay.
there.
Now I have one video that's 9 minutes. That's a bit too long for me. So I will just share the link and then I will show the video that's 3 minutes long. So that video is called Egyptian Influence in Carthage.
I gotta peep
Carthage.
that video.
Come again?
I gotta see that video.
Well, I've just shared the link now.
Okay,
Now
I'll check it out.
we will all have a look together at a video entitled What Carthaginians Looked Like Before Hannibal. Because a lot of our people claim that Hannibal was black. I don't know why they claim
I
that.
believe.
Just like,
I believe it.
I believe
well,
it too.
yeah, well, believing is not knowing.
I know it.
And I mean, people
I
believe
mean,
that.
what about that? What about the coin? The coin that
I
Trez
know it.
made. That was
Well,
in
that
that.
coin is it the coin that J.A. Rogers showed in his book?
The coin that shows a depiction of an elephant on the back of the coin and then the dreadlocks on the
Yeah,
front.
like look, where does that coin come from?
It was found. It was found near the site in Italy, near the site of the Battle of Cannae.
No, but where is that coin, brother? Where is it now?
Oh, I don't know where it's now, but I know where it was found. It was found in
Because
Italy.
I have doubts about the reliability of that coin. Just like we know where the Eiffel Tower is, just like we know where the Statue of Liberty is. And that's why I usually make the analogy with Jesus Christ. Christians think that we have records mentioning Jesus Christ during his lifetime. And I usually tell them, if it was the case, all Christians will be able to say, if you go to Israel, if you go to Bethlehem or Jerusalem, or if you go to London, or if you go to Australia, in that museum in Sydney, you have the artifact mentioning Jesus. Nobody's able to say that. Now, Hannibal was not as influential or important as Jesus, but yet we have so many people who make a correlation with Hannibal and the almost defeat of the Roman Empire. They usually say he almost crushed am I making a mistake? Was it with the Romans, the Punic Wars?
The Romans, yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. So how come no black person is able to say, you know, that coin where we see Hannibal with the dreadlocks is located in that place and that place? Does that coin mention Hannibal? Is his name written there? You see, brother?
It's not written there, no. But the coin is legit though. I think you can look it up. You can look it up. You can look up where the coin is.
Numismatics.
But because the only reason that it's legit is because there are actually records on and next show I'll do some research.
Well, you are welcome. You are welcome, because we can all learn. You know, I don't know it all. You know, and I can always discover and learn. Now let us look at this video here, and you see people say that Hannibal was black, just like people say that Cleopatra was black. I don't know where they get that from. Now, some people say
people could say the same thing about us when we say that Kemet was black. Brother,
we have the records.
We don't, brother. But we don't use the same logic when it comes to Kemet.
And also, like just like that slide that you showed on encyclopedia.com, it says that, you know, the Punic language, which is different from Phoenician, the Punic language was influenced by the people of the Amazigh, that language, which is Proto Tamashek or Tifinagh. So, and that clearly comes from the Garamantes, who were black. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, we know that there are black people in Carthage.
Absolutely. Well, brother, I hear you. I would like you to show us the depiction of the black people of Carthage, because I can show you depictions from Carthage, and that's actually that video. I've shared the link in the chat. Let's look together, and we can even hear my commentary. It's only 3 minutes long.
Now, this is an artifact from Carthage, Tunisia, around the 2nd century BC. This is from the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. And I will show you a few other artifacts as well. So first, we start with the reference. So it tells you that it's a bearded head dressed with the remains of a bird, and they tell you Serapis for strange reason. It's made of I forgot the name in English, but never mind. 2nd century AD, Carthage, Tunisia, and the reference AO 1027. So this is AD. We are going to deal with BC now with a couple of artifacts. Those are the references I will show you in detail. Now this one is a woman. Okay, and then I will show you the man who is next to the woman. There it is. This one is 300, I believe it's BC, but we're going to verify that. Yes, so the woman, sarcophagus, 3rd century BC, Carthage, Tunisia. It's a woman wearing a veil, and who's actually holding a well. And the reference is, hold on. There it is, MND 799. Now the man, sarcophagus, 300 BC, same place, Carthage, Tunisia. And it tells you that it's a priest raising his right hand in a gesture of adoration. or worship, if you will. And he's holding a cassolet. I don't know how to translate that in English. The reference is MND 800. And I will show you another one, which might not be 300 AD, maybe a bit earlier than that. This is the one I want to show you. You have that man raising his hand, and looks like a bull, but we're going to see what they tell us about it. So I'm looking for the one. Oh, there it is. Number 5. A man raising his hand in gesture of adoration. Oh, it is the same date, 3rd century BC, Carthage, Tunisia. So I will try to zoom in a little bit so you can have an idea of the phenotype as well. Okay. All right.
This is like
All right, so I've unmuted everybody, including myself. Now, brothers and sisters, this is record. This is fact. This is what the people of Carthage look like. Asiatic Lion wrote in the chat that is absolutely not Hannibal or any of his family. I never claimed that it was, but I'm just showing what people from Carthage look like. Now, if anybody has depictions of Hannibal and his family, feel free to share it. It's as simple as that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I urge you, brothers and sisters, go to some museums, go to ancient Greece, and the area known as the Levant, or anything about the East. If they have Arabia, if they have Canaan, if they have Mesopotamia, Sumer, go and look at the dates and look at the depictions. I guarantee you, just like the video White Semites Black Awakening, you will realize that the phenotype is the same all through. But because we want to place ourselves in those Abrahamic mix, we're trying to claim that we're actually dealing with black people. So feel free to make your closing remarks, brothers. I will let Afro-Asiatic make his closing remarks first. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you know, Shaka, we gotta basically use multidiscipline studies nowadays. We need to assess the genetic data and what the data is telling us, as well as the archaeological records. But we can demonstrate clearly through genetic studies that many of these places like Tunisia, Carthage, the Levant, Arabia, and Kemet were in fact African city states. We can demonstrate that clearly. You know, we just need to step up our game, I believe, collectively, and begin to cross-reference and use multidiscipline studies. And peace to you, Shaka. You know, always an honor. You know, peace to you, Brother Sharp. You brothers take care. And I'm out. Salutes to the panel. Salutes to my forever.
Peace, brother Afro-Asiatic. Brother Sharp, please feel free to make your closing remarks.
Yeah, I'll just say a quick rebuttal. I mean, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, definitely hard to argue. Once you have artifacts from the region itself, you know, but you know, at the same time, there were a pantheon of gods and goddesses. You know, that indeed, you know, that the Carthaginians worship that were originated from the Levant, and you know, they definitely had different. They don't have the Negroid features. I can definitely concede that. This guy Serapis is actually one of those deities, and I believe when the Greeks during the Ptolemaic era, they merged him with I think one of the Egyptian bulls, or like the goddess that was
That's
like
correct. That's correct. The bull called Apis.
Apis,
Indeed.
and
Yes.
they merged him to create Jesus Christ, I believe. So I mean,
That's
it's a theory.
okay. Some people claim that, and some people claim that, yes.
I mean, I kind of believe it, but that's just me. But you know, um, they're definitely I mean, I believe definitely there were black people in Carthage. But and I'll do the research. I'll definitely do some more research. I enjoy the panel. I enjoy discussing these topics with you, Shaka. And salute to the panel. And till next time. Peace.
Thank you, Brother Sharp, and thank you for calling in. Well, brothers and sisters, I have to go home to wifey. I've been live streaming for 2 hours right after work, so and brothers, and you know what? I just realized that I forgot to put the branding. This, which is a shame, but here you have the YouTube account. Subscribe. You have the Twitter also on the side, and you can see here. Think about your brother. I've showed you some artifact from the Louvre Museum. France is where I reside, so it's not far. But I've shown you different artifacts from Italy, from Switzerland, from the Netherlands, from Denmark. It takes a lot of money to travel to those places to enter the museums. I don't get there free. They don't say, "Hey, Shaka, we've been waiting for you. Can't believe you came here. Just get in, man. It's free for you. You're good, man." No, I pay like everybody else. So there's a hotel fee. I mean, I don't need to just do a rundown. I've been delivering for years. So, you have the PayPal, you have the Cash App. And for those who don't feel like, oh, I don't want to donate and I don't have anything in return, then I give Medu Neter classes, you see? So thank you for being there. Now, for those who don't want to share any money, spend any money whatsoever, hey, it's cool. At least share the videos. Watch Kemet and Ma'at and share it. That would be a good look. All right, brothers. Thank you for being there. I'm about to put the outro. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to, by the nature, I'll definitely holler back at you. Hotep. Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Neter classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Medu Neter class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Medu Neter lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Medu Neter, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Medu Neter, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neter classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge. No question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neter class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.